What it do, YouTube? This your country cousin, G. Lewis, welcoming you back to the Sipp. And for all my people who now reside on the East Coast, the West Coast, Midwest, all parts in between, I want to take this time to say, welcome home. I love this Sipp. That's right, I said it. I love this Sipp. Why? Because it's home. Who doesn't love home? You feel me? Yeah, I get it. If you look like me and you hear me say this and you don't live in the Sipp, I can understand if you cringe at the thought of someone saying that who looks like me. I get it. Because I understand that during the turbulent times of the 1960s, the media flocked to the state of Mississippi. And for good reasons, absolutely. Media from inside of America, as well as media all around the globe, came to Mississippi, and the Mississippi Europeans showed their to the world. Full display, not only in Mississippi, but Birmingham, Memphis, Alabama, Tennessee, yeah. But Mississippi, that was a whole nother case. And because of that tumultuous time in American history and Mississippi's history, this country has not let Mississippi live that moment down. And rightfully so, rightfully so. Because we lost a lot of good people and a lot of good people got hurt, all because they wanted their right to live as free human beings. Yeah. But here's the kicker. The power of the media helped to shine a spotlight on an ugly, vile time in Americans' history. Yeah, make no mistake about it. It was American history, which happened to take place in the state of Mississippi. So when I say I love the state of Mississippi, I can understand if you may cringe at the thought of me saying that. But for those who know, we know. There's a lot of beauty in Mississippi, man. Mississippi's not perfect. Far from that. But what part of America is? I had a friend that I reconnected with from the military, and she lives in Brooklyn, New York. To all my country cousins in Brooklyn, I want to say what's up. Well, one day we were talking on the phone, and she asked me, she said, why did you go back to Mississippi after, you finished your time in the military? And I told her what I said earlier. Mississippi's home. I love Mississippi. But it was like she questioning my mental status. Why would you do that to yourself? So I told her, it's home. This is where I'm from. Now, fast forward, maybe a week later is when the European did the unthinkable. I believe it was Buffalo, New York, when that homegrown domestic terrorist went up there and intentionally targeted a grocery store that was frequently used by people who look like me. And he did a lot of damage up there. Now, this was only a week after she had asked me, why did I move back to the Sipp? I ended up hitting her back later on and saying, this is America, man. This could happen anywhere in America because it's systematic. It's not just designated to one particular area of this country or one state or one city or nothing like that. No, this is all through the United States. So are you gonna leave Brooklyn? Are you gonna leave the state of New York because of what happened upstate New York? Or even what happened, within the city limits when the brother from Africa who was working as an immigrant, as a taxi cab driver, and they assassinated that brother right there on the spot. No, you're not gonna leave Brooklyn for that. You're not gonna leave New York City for that because it's home and it has some great qualities about it. That's why you're there. same way here. I remember reading Steve Harvey's book, and he mentioned how he was going through a rough time of his life. And he reached out to Baba Dick Gregory, who's now an ancestor. And Dick Gregory told him, as only Dick Gregory can, and in his fashion, he told him, you need to go down to the state of Mississippi, find you a big open field, and go sit up under an oak tree. Now, I got what he was saying by that. He was telling the brother he needs to go and rejuvenate himself. He needs to go somewhere where he can find a peace of mind and just, decompress and get his mind together. And Mississippi would do that for you. It's a lot of fields out here, a lot of open fields. Now, I don't particularly live in an area like that, but I'm only a short distance drive from open fields, So there's a lot of therapy in having peace of mind and not being stacked upon one another. That's what Mississippi provides for me. And if you're someone who's inherited a lot of acres of land, which there are a lot of people in Mississippi who look like me, own a lot of land. I'm talking about acres and acres of nothing but farmland, growing vegetables and fruits, and they got their own livestock on it, but these are not the images that you are accustomed to seeing in the media when you hear the word Mississippi or the Sipp. But I'm letting you in on that. There's a lot of people up there, my country cousins in the northern part of the state, man, who has a lot of property up there that's been passed on for generations and generations. So these people are growing their own fruits and vegetables. Unlike where I'm at, I'm in a more built up area down here on the coast. So I gotta go buy my fruits and vegetables from Walmart, places like that. These people are growing their food without all the chemicals and preservatives and, and genetically modified, foods and stuff like that. That's another good thing about Mississippi. Only use a couple acres of land, plant your own crops, grow your own food, live a healthy life. Not enough of us is doing that in the state because the obesity rate is through the roof, but nonetheless, those are the possibilities that are available if you live in the Sipp. So when I say I love the Sipp, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those things that I just said. And the people who look like me. When we get together, especially during the South, come on, man. I know some of my kinfolk from the Chi and from LA, I know y'all can relate to that, especially if you're a little bit up in age. You remember going down south, coming to Mississippi during the summertime, spend time down here with Big Mama them. Yeah, on their land, coming to the family reunions. Yeah, that kind of stuff. And I bet you had some good times running around out there in the open fields with your cousins. Didn't you now? I know you did. See, that's the beautiful thing about that. And that's a beautiful thing because family is another beautiful thing about living in the Sipp. Now, I can say, unfortunately, we're starting to see those chains weakening lately over the past couple of generations because there's not an emphasis like it used to be in the 70s and before about family bonds and getting together and, cookouts and family reunions. But nonetheless, it's still there. It's not gone. It's still there for the most part. But that's another beautiful thing about living in Mississippi, man. Family connection, family ties. Yeah, I love all that, So I just wanted to start this video up by saying that I love the Sipp. Now, I know we got issues here, but as I said, when those cameras got turned on and the world's attention was on Mississippi during the 1960s and the civil rights movements coming through the state, it shined a spotlight on an ugly time in our state's history. In America, y'all have not let Mississippi live that down. Now, there are still issues here, but as I said, there's issues in every state in this country now. But unfortunately, Mississippi can't get no get back because All the images that were caught on those cameras back in the 60s, it lives in perpetuity. It's out there for the world to see and be replayed. If you don't believe me, go to YouTube and type in Mississippi. You'll see a whole lot of videos dealing with, like I said in my other previous video, you'll see a lot of videos that's dealing with poverty and racism. And you'll see a lot of videos documenting the civil rights movement up here through the state. And Stokely Carmichael coined the phrase Black Power up there in the Deltas. So when I tell you I love the Sipp, I love the Sipp for all the things that I know are good things. And I ain't mad at nobody who doesn't love the Sipp based on the carrying on of the history of what people say about Mississippi, and they're tying it from the 60s all the way back. I would say even the 70s, all the way back through Jim Crow, all the way back until, the 1800s when our people were in bondage. So I get that. But here's the thing about it. If you've never been here and talked to people who look like me, then your perception is lacking. Get a chance. Come to the Sipp, especially if you got kinfolk still here. Come down here and see some of your people, man, if you ain't been down here in years. And get some of that good old, Mississippi soil between your toes. And go sit up under a wide open field and sit up under an oak tree or a magnolia tree, as the brother Baba Dick Gregory prescribed to my man, Steve Harvey. This your man, G. Lewis, your country cousin. And for all my kinfolk on the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, and all parts in between, I want to thank you all for tuning into this video and supporting the channel. And please, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and continue to support what I am doing here. I am building. My goal is to build and flip the Sipp. And what I mean by flipping the Sipp, I am out to highlight people, places, and things in the state that look like me, and people that are doing extraordinary things. From artists, from painters, sculptors, business owners, farmers owning land and cultivating the land, to just regular everyday people who have vendors and shops like that, and who are not only making a way, but they're carving out a life and changing the narrative about what it means to look like me and live in this great state that we call the Sipp. Till next time, may God bless you all.